Welcome back, everyone. This is part 3, the final part for today. This is GGN, and it's Friday, June 7th, 2013. I'm Darko. My website is ggnonline.com, if you didn't know. On YouTube, ddarko2012, ddarko2013 are my YouTube channels. And the link should be in YouTube's video description. So, I'm ready to go here. Americans more secure in poll as 60% see no need for a better job, so everything's good to go. Americans are feeling more secure about their own finances, with stock and home values rising, and even as growing numbers say the country is heading down the wrong track. People are more upbeat about a range of financial issues, job security, retirement, home values, and household income than they were in February. So 8 measures of financial well-being surveyed show increasing optimism. The economy is doing a lot better, says Nancy Bush, 856 of San Francisco. So I feel very encouraged, and maybe it's just a gut feeling, but I think we've made it through our 4 or 5 year recovery. See, she thinks that there's some kind of actual recovery. Well, system must be working for her still, but either way, I can see my neighbors. Just the other day, I was working on my car. I saw like 3 or 4 guys, all dirty and stuff, and off work, and they all looked like they were completely exhausted. One guy was saying they were bringing a stopwatch to his line and telling him he had to increase production. I mean, this guy's been working 7 days a week. I mean, when he walked out of his house, he was literally looked like he was dizzy. They just look like they're being worked to death. They're just going to work. They're just going to work us to death, so that we can maintain the standard of living that we usually have had, which is to be able to go out and buy things. That's why they call it a post-consumer society. And they got the youth really hooked into that mentality of being green and sustainable. British workers under Cameron more financially distressed than under Thatcher. So it says here, study findings have been published in a report which shows that there is twice as many elderly workers as compared to the 1980s, coupled over 10% workers who are ill or disabled now. This comes as employee benefits, which were introduced to provide financial protection, have failed to adapt. Therefore, many workers are financially exposed and less secure now than they were 30 years ago. I don't know why this doesn't come up anymore from the Telegraph, these images, but Britain faces a decade of austerity. Influential think tank warns. I keep seeing these articles like every other day about how they're telling people that this is here to stay. Britain faces a decade of austerity, with public spending cuts likely to dominate the next 2 general elections. And this came from Institute for Fiscal Studies. Food energy prices soaring dramatically across Britain. A new report has revealed that Britain is suffering an abrupt increase in food and energy prices than anywhere in Europe. And this is what initially stoked the Arab Spring, is huge spike in food prices, and you know where that's coming from. It can be completely engineered to spike food prices based off speculation and stuff like that. Companies, they like Goldman Sachs, basically to gouge food prices, and that. I've heard articles like that in the past where people are starving because of what these companies are doing. The rise comes as the crippling squeeze on household finances continues to take a toll across the country. Long-term unemployed can't catch a break, jobs report shows. So the economy added 175,000 jobs in May, the Labor Department said on Friday, but the number of people out of work 6 months or longer remained the same as in April at 4.4 million. The ranks of long-term unemployed have dwindled by 1 million since last year, but they're uncertain whether they're finding jobs or dropping out of the labor force. Only people who have actively searched for work within 4 weeks of the government survey count as unemployed. Self-help talk show host commits suicide by inhaling helium. So we've covered this before about the army soldier, the sergeant, who is, I guess he wasn't like depressed or any signs. Was part of the suicide prevention course, and he ended up being playing the role of a concerned friend or something like that, and he ended up going to his truck and blowing his head off. 2 self-help talk show hosts were found dead in a New York City home on Monday in what police said was an apparent double suicide. So, they're motivational speakers, and they had to show the pursuit of happiness. So, it says here their psychotherapists frequently encourage callers to show to accept changes in their lives and try spontaneous activities. Study says many college students not learning to think critically. So this is part of education, is to get you to not think critically, to not see whether the authority over you is still legitimate. Is it legitimate authority? An unprecedented study that followed several thousand undergrad students through 4 years of college found that large numbers of them did not learn critical thinking, complex reasoning, and written communication skills that are widely assumed to be at the core of college education. Many of them didn't know how to sift fact from opinion, make a clear written argument, or objectively review conflicting reports of a situation or event. Combining the hours spent studying and in class, students devoted less than a fifth of their time each week to academic pursuits. By contrast, students spent 51% of their time, or 85 hours a week, socializing or in extracurricular activities. So go to the public school, don't be homeschooled, you gotta socialize. Bilderberg Group, no conspiracy, just the most influential group in the world. Conspiracy theorists claim it is a shadow world government. Former leading members tell the Telegraph it was the most useful meeting that they ever went to, and it was crucial in forming the European Union. I saw the statue, a transhumanist statue outside where that meeting's being taken place. So the thing about Bilderberg is it's like you go to like InfoWars and they just beat it to death, and it's just like, okay, you're gonna hold signs and you're gonna like hold signs outside these people as they drive in their tinted window cars, and these millionaires and CEOs. It's like, yeah, okay, these douchebags are selling humanity out, selling the planet, but it's like they want you to come out and do that. They want you to feel. They want you to know that they're part of the elite. They don't care that you're out there holding signs. They don't feel threatened by you at all. Right? They got private security. They got public security backing them. They got the legal system in their hands. They want you to know that they're ruling you. So they don't give a crap if you're out there protesting, holding signs. I mean, if you really want to bring these people down, if you really want to get at them instead of holding signs and annoying them, stop buying their products, right? Stop buying their products and put them out of business. That's how you can get them. That's how you can really, you vote with your dollar. So I think it's a pressure release valve, the whole Bilderberg thing. I think Obama should be impeached. Pro-life leaders react to NSA spying scandal. Again, why is the NSA spying some kind of shock or surprise to the mainstream media? All of a sudden, I go in there, I cover a lot of news, so I see the news all the time, and I see the news cycles, and I can see patterns. Why the hell is the NSA in the news all of a sudden, just in the last day or two? I mean, just based off what they're saying, what the NSA is saying. A British newspaper Guardian revealed on Wednesday that the NSA has been collecting telephone records of more than 100 million U.S. Verizon customers on an ongoing daily basis. Oh my God, what a shock that Google and Facebook and Apple and Microsoft are all spying on you. I mean, come on, people. It's like the IRS. They're spying on everybody. But the catch here, dude, is I think Obama should be impeached. Is this kind of impeachment? Like I said, I don't know. Maybe Obama, whether you agree with his ideas of leftism or centrism, populism, right? He may not be doing what he's supposed to be doing fast enough, or he may not be doing exactly what they want him to do. So they might be throwing their old golden boy under the bus with the whole IRS thing. Now the NSA thing. It just seems a little timely to me. Walking Dead actress arrested in connection to ricin letters. So says here, Vampire Diaries and The Walking Dead. She played bit parts in the TV show. Was arrested Friday for allegedly sending letters laced with the poison ricin to President Barack Obama and Mayor Bloomberg. Northern Colorado trying to secede from new states. So nice and everything, right? But what did the Confederate States of America face when they tried to peacefully secede? Well, it didn't work out too well for them. And as a result, the aggressor, Abraham Lincoln, of course, was hailed in history as some kind of hero. And after hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people died. One corner of rural Colorado is so fed up with the leftward lurch of our state that the county leaders are talking secession by creating the 51st state. So northeastern Colorado ready to go with them, citing concerns that they are being ignored on issues like energy and agriculture. They say our every way of life is under attack. So it's a direct assault on rural Colorado. So this guy, Weld, says some would call it extreme, maybe aggressive, and I would say absolutely. I think extreme times call for extreme actions, the county commissioner, Doug Rabiner, a Republican, said. The last state to do this effectively was West Virginia in 1863. So it says they're not going away and they're taking it serious. So kind of like Catalonia, there could be that happening. We could see that in our future as the megacities arise and everything goes. People, the elites are too worried about their elitist lifestyle and singularity. People out in living underground, the Ubermensch, will basically maybe they will try to form their own little areas and secede from states. LAPD holds downtown counterterrorism drill. You can go there and check it out. Realistic counterterrorism drill in the heart of downtown with explosions, officers firing blank ammunition at pretend suspects, and law enforcement helicopters flying low downtown office towers. So it says National Homeland Security Association's conference says is being conducted by the police department's counterterrorism and special operations bureau. So they're preparing for this scenario that I'm talking about, this environment. House votes to delay bulk ammunition purchase by DHS. They voted to stop the DHS from entering into new contracts to buy millions of rounds of ammunition until DHS reports to Congress on the need for ammunition and costs. So again, positive thing. Anti-EDL bomb could have sparked spiral of terror from June 6. 6 men who planned a terror attack on the English Defense League rally could have sparked a spiral of violence and terror. The plot failed when the men arrived at the event last June 2 hours too late. So police investigate fire at Islamic Community Center in Muswell Hill. Police confirm EDL graffiti found at the site of blaze. So, as fears increase reprisals after Woolwich murder. So, again, like I said, Zionist tactics being used, of course, for the EDL and getting people to fight Muslims and make it Christians versus Muslims instead of white Europeans against immigrants, right? So they're able to know what people are thinking, and then they go in front and they create this staged uprising of this staged crisis. So you remember the Woolwich attack, when extremists are below the radar. Terrorist killings such as this week might be hard to predict, but that's no reason for panic. So they try to push the whole extremist, creating extremist, anti-extremist departments to weed them out. 8 skinheads questioned in deadly Paris brawl. So for years they operated in the shadows, but it says, but militant extreme right groups have become increasingly visible in France. It said the French government says it wants to ban extreme right groups, a complete or complex task complicated by the Hydra-like nature of the hardcore right. The government says it will do everything to dissolve these groups. It says it takes time. So they say in recent months, extreme right groups have been a visible part of massive French protests against gay marriage, which was legalized here in May. So they try to tie that in there, right? Liberal groups say that they don't see the IRS targeting their tax applications. Hey, liberals, everybody is under the IRS's knife. Today's show wrist, Slasher explains the IRS ruined my life to bloody scene horrified tourists. So when this Chong Mar started shouting about government corruption and pulled a knife on himself. So it's interesting. He was trying to hand out pamphlets to people about the IRS, how it's ruined his life. Nobody even paid him any attention. So then he just started, he said it was a desperate act to get back at the IRS and bring attention to it. So what does Matt Lauer do? He goes right back to the show. Instead of picking up this story and talking about the IRS, no, they didn't. Google chief says glass privacy fears will fade. Of course they'll fade. They'll engineer their consent. A password so secret you don't consciously know it. Just talking about the biostamps, swallowing pills for passwords. Iowa City to ban red light cameras, drones, and license plate readers too. So there's a lot of hatred in there, morphed into a 3-in-1 privacy bill. Florida cop fired after dash cam shows him running over a fleeing man. A handicapped woman calls 911 during brutal beating by cop. Partially deaf and cognitively disabled woman has been charged with a felony assault on an officer. Then you have a bill that would make annoying a cop a crime. 14-year-old with a puppy is choked by Miami police officer over dehumanizing stares. Detroit cops stage a purse snatching for television and almost get shot by the feds. Thank you.